Hey everyone, I hope you guys are having a great JNUC 2021. Super excited today to tackle a new topic with you. This is Eric Henry from Carousel Digital Signage. I'm happy to have Nick Wenner from Pallet Service with me here today, and the beloved Rick Lucero from the Jamf team. And we're going to look at what's going on at Pallet Service. And Pallet Service as an organization is growing tremendously. And a big thing about what they wanted to do was grow the right way, making sure they're bringing all their employees along on this journey as they continue to expand their business, engage their people, really build a culture that is a rich culture with strong communications as a company. And so today we want to kind of dive in and talk and learn from Nick Wenner from Pallet Service about how they tackled this problem using Jamf Now and Apple TVs and Carousel Digital Signage. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it right over to Nick and we'll get started.
Great, thanks, Eric. Super happy to be here. So, at Pallet Service Corporation, we're a second-generation family-owned business currently being operated by my brother Luke and I. From back in the 90s, and we were a single plant with about 10 employees. Fast forward to now, we have about 150 employees, and we're operating in production facilities between Minnesota and Wisconsin. And we also have remote staff in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So while we obviously feel very blessed and privileged to have this growth, it came with a significant set of challenges. And one of those being, how do we effectively communicate in a consistent, meaningful way with people across all these different spaces? So obviously we believe at our company, what we do is important, but how we go about it, how we do it is of equal importance. And that means how we treat our employees and our customers and our staff. All of those things that we're doing together make up our formula for how successful we think we are. While profits are important, it's not everything. We want to make sure that the people that are helping us achieve those financial goals are being taken care of along the way. And for us on the employee front, that means keeping our employees engaged and well taken care of. So with our team across multiple shifts in different states, who also speak several different languages, that clear messaging and communication has always been a challenge for us. And we just needed to find a better way to do it that wasn't so cumbersome. So basically our problem was twofold. First, we didn't have a platform to deliver messaging to all of our employees. And second, if it's not easy, it's probably not going to stick and it probably won't get used. So that was where when we came to Carousel and Jamf, we had just a great experience from the get-go. And a lot of those boxes were being checked right off the bat for us. With 2/3 of our employees being at the production level, we needed to have the ability to reach all those people in a way that was consistent with the communications we were sending to the people via email and some of the other methods we were using for like office style communication. We kept finding that by the time the message would reach the people on the floor, it had been changed or distorted or was just a little bit different than what we intended. And that's what we loved about this platform from the get-go, is it allowed us to easily deploy hardware that would communicate the signage across all these different facilities and shifts and just get us everything we need to communicate well with our staff.
All right. Hey, thanks for sharing that, Nick. We've seen the problem. Now let's talk through the solution. As with most impactful solutions, it's the partnership that makes things effective, efficient, and uncomplicated. So the main objective was to keep things easy. Nick didn't want to sign himself or his leaders up for tricky and time-consuming management tasks beyond their main responsibilities, which is something we fully understand at Jamf and Carousel. So creating a simple workflow that combined Apple TVs, managed by Jamf Now, and powered with Carousel Digital Signage, it enabled Pallet Service to centrally manage their messaging, the strategy around it, and communicate it to each location. Some of you may already know this, however, some may be asking, so what is Jamf Now? Jamf Now is a simple and easy to use, yet extremely powerful device management solution that fit exactly what Nick was looking for. In just a few minutes, organizations can set up and be ready to deploy any of their Apple devices. And that was no exception for Pallet Service. Nick used Jamf Now to assign the Carousel app, deploy the Apple TV, and secure the devices on their network. So in short, Jamf Now makes it easy to set up, manage, and secure Apple devices in any organization size. Connecting Apple Business Manager simplifies the setup of Apple devices and unlocks the tools to manage them in your environment. Enforce passcodes, assign apps, and apply restrictions using what we call blueprints to streamline the look and feel of those Apple devices. Security is important, and we know that, which is why with Jamf Now, we made it really easy to keep your business data and information safe and separate from personal data. So let's talk hardware for a second, specifically the Apple TV. The Apple TV is a platform, and it's the right tool to help transform digital communication and content, be it on the warehouse floor, at the front office, or even in a patient's room somewhere in a hospital. Apple TV also happens to be an affordable and flexible solution, which made it the hardware of choice to be part of this specific solution. The Apple TVs help Pallet Service drive employee engagement with content displayed and created specifically for their team at Pallet Service. This solution is not complete without finally hearing from the last piece of the puzzle, and that's the platform running on the Apple TVs, our friends at Carousel Digital Signage. So let's kick it over to Eric so that he can share a little bit more about Carousel and how they partnered on this solution for the team at Pallet Service.
Thanks, Rick. So yeah, as we dive into a little bit more about what the Carousel solution offers, the thing that I've always loved in our partnership with Jamf is this idea that there is no step 3. Understanding that it's really important to make sure that the IT experience, the ability to deploy devices at scale and just give this incredible experience. The thing we love to talk about together is this idea of shrink wrap to signage. So this whole story, and especially as you add Jamf Now into this equation, deploying devices has never been easier. But you need to also follow that up with a user experience that is really simple and streamlined and meets the needs like Pallet Service and Nick's team. Because the reality is a lot of our organizations that we serve don't have dedicated people that are doing graphic design or figuring out what messages are being put on the screen. And at Carousel, really the heart of our organization is to empower organizations to get their message out and build their own community. At the end of the day, it comes down to why we do the thing that we do. And at Carousel, I can talk about all the features and all the things, but if we miss the mark around really giving Nick and his team a set of tools to communicate within their organization, then it's really not worth doing, quite frankly. And so we want to spend the next few minutes here kind of talking about Pallet Service in particular, but also just maybe giving an idea to some of you who are on this call about how you can leverage these tools together to engage employees, whether they're gathering again in a manufacturing space, even as remote employees are engaging in. And so with that, I want to kind of dive in a little bit to what Nick and his team have been doing. Here's a kind of a great shot of what's happening even within one of their facilities where they're displaying the weather, different things about different plants, and as Nick mentioned earlier, even communicating both in Spanish and in English for their employees and making sure that they're engaging everybody well. And you're seeing obviously a resurgence of QR codes like you see on this screen with the developments in the last year and a half, but just an opportunity again to place displays really everywhere people are gathering, whether it's in a break room, whether it's on the shop floor, or other spaces. And an example on the next slide, these are, in full disclosure, these are not Nick's shop. We have some other pictures of Nick's shop. These are really cool stock photographs. So just want to, have that disclaimer here today. But you can see, again, this idea, you have somebody holding an iPad where they can really engage right on the shop floor, showing some metrics and communications, even as a teaching opportunity or helping see where productivity is at for the day. And so we're gonna dive into that in a second. But these other visuals of conveying to people not just metrics. Metrics is definitely helpful, especially in a manufacturing space, but also, hey, the potluck that's happening Friday, or the other things that are really engaging, again, a community of people. Nick has challenges with how do you communicate to first, second, and even third shift workers, right? Where you don't always have a manager on duty or making sure that everybody's seeing the newsletter. We have people in these environments that don't have their own personal device. And so digital signage is lending to creating an environment where everybody is getting the same messaging. And along with that, really an important thing is this idea of cutting through the noise. We have so many devices, so many things vying for our attention. And at the end of the day, the things that are on the wall that we choose to put in front of our people are really the thing that cuts through the noise and conveys to people the things we want. We want them to be well aware of, whether it's something related to human resources or getting signed up for next year's annual enrollment or participating in a caring event that the organization's putting on, all of those types of things. And so just wanted to throw a few of those ideas at you. One of the things that also is possible with our integration together is alerting people in a situation where there is an actual emergency. Hopefully that's never the case within our facilities, but also even special events that are happening, inviting somebody to the facility, letting them know that a tour is happening. Or my favorite thing personally is, hey, there's an ice cream social at 3 p.m. Let's go grab some ice cream. So a lot of powerful tools. Certainly could dive into all that. I want to keep moving here and talk specifically about one integration that we're seeing really drive a lot of engagement and a lot of uplift even in performance within facilities, and more importantly, boosting actual morale. And so we've seen some organizations, including Pallet Service, leveraging Power BI and all the dashboarding. Power BI is an awesome tool, right? To start pulling data together to see how our organizations are performing and looking at the metrics. But they're really powerful when people can actually have ready access to them and just see them throughout the day. And so along with Pallet Service, we're seeing other manufacturers leverage Power BI right on the shop floor to even say, boy, here's how we're tracking right now in real time on this shift. And I love this quote that Nick said. He said when we were talking with him early on just about how things are going, this guiding principle that he has is that everyone should know if they had a good day or not a good day at work. And using Carousel and Power BI on Apple TV is just a fluid way of getting dynamic content right to that screen in real time. And it's a really powerful story. The manager on duty can help encourage somebody if they're falling a little behind, or use it as a training opportunity. But a lot of times, we really want to take the positive side of these things, right? And I know Nick's organization, like, they're really trying to encourage their people and say, look, man, we're hitting it out of the park today. Well done. And celebrating with people in real time the job that they're doing. And along with that, kind of coupling the Power BI stuff, again, mentioning like even having it on your tablet. Which is pretty awesome. Like you can pull up right on a tablet and see what's being displayed all around the shop floor, or even at another facility. As Nick mentioned, they have multiple facilities around the Midwest here, and so you can see what's all happening in real time. And so it just, at the end of the day, it lends to an engaged culture. And so I love technology. I like putting cool things on the screen, but at the end of the day, if we're not engaging our people and building cultures that we're really proud of, and back to Nick's point of wanting to grow an organization the right way, we want to be part of that. Like, that's ultimately what we want to be part of. It's cool to sell stuff, right? It's cool to figure out, these technical solutions and making it easy, but we really want to give a set of tools to an organization to help them meet their objective. And a big part of that objective is really around our people. That's our biggest investment. And we want to keep investing in our people and helping shape what success looks like, encouraging and celebrating that success. One of the things we didn't really hit on here, but I love to see in Pallet Service, I love to see that even in our own company, is these core value stories. Like when we see one of our people exhibiting our core values, I love celebrating that stuff and being reminded of all of the peers that I work with and those types of things. And so that's just a little bit, obviously I didn't spend too much time talking about how Carousel works, but I wanted to share a little bit of the heart behind what it is we do as an organization, because all of the things we do technically, it's all around making it simple for everyday people, even within Nick's organization. His HR person is driving a lot of the signage content. And so can you pull from other data systems that already have the data to keep it dynamic and fresh? And can you make it simple to make something really good hit on the screen with powerful scheduling and all that stuff? That's all great, but at the heart of it, it's helping organizations like Pallet Service all the way up to really large manufacturing organizations, whether you're using Jamf Now or Jamf Pro, or even Jamf School to manage your deployment, just giving you a great set of tools to keep your people engaged and ultimately lead to more success. Like that's what it's all about. So with that, I want to hand it back over to Nick.
Yeah, and Eric, if I can just kind of summarize a couple of the things too that I saw through in our process is from day one when we engaged with Jamf, I was shocked at how we were a 3-player company at that time for them, or a 3-player customer, and the customer service I got, they treated me legitimately like I was one of their most important customers. I spent probably an hour and a half on support because of an issue that I created for myself that I was trying to figure out. And the awesome staff there just stuck with me and didn't try and get off the phone with me. And they saw me through the issue, and we eventually figured it out. And they didn't need to do that because, again, I'm probably small potatoes in their world, but they stuck with it. We got the problem solved. The other part of the magic here is when they say it's easy, it truly is easy. So now that I have all of this set up, I wanted to put all this to the test and see how well it really works. So I ordered a couple extra Apple TVs, and literally all I did was plug them into the wall and turn them on. And within a minute or two, I had carousel signage up on the screen with either minimal or no interaction from me. It just worked. And that was what was so cool just about. They made that promise, and it held through. The carousel signage and the Jam software just fit so well together. The other thing that you touched on, Eric, that's been super important for us and for me as I was considering this solution is as much of this content as you want can be dynamic, meaning I can be as interactive with the software as not as possible. So with Power BI, I can set up my dashboards, and every day it's pulling in new data, or every hour or whatever interval. It's always pulling in new information at the intervals that I choose to give people the right information at the right time. As well as the other integrations it can do with some social media sites and things like that. It's part of making signage great is making it changing all the time. That's what kind of keeps people engaged and kind of what keeps people looking at it if the content keeps changing. So it's just been super cool to see how well these two platforms were built separately and then brought together to form just this solution that I think every manufacturer should know about.
Boy, I really appreciate that, Nick. I promise I didn't pay him to say any of that. I don't think Rick did either. So with that, I just want to thank you all for taking this time with us today. I look forward to the follow-up conversations, the dreaming, the imagining, where we could really find places to put Carousel and Jamf and Apple TV and iPads as well. We didn't talk a lot about that today, but we're seeing Mac Minis and iPads being leveraged as well as Apple TV. But Apple TV, boy, what a powerful story it is. The shrink wrap to signage and deploying it in big ways and seeing really tremendous fruit from making that investment. And that's really what it's all about. I love, again, the no step 3 on the Jamf side of things, coupled with what Carousel offers organizations. So if you're at all interested in talking about the kind of the art of the possible, or even what's already been done, a lot of organizations have been leveraging these solutions together, and we would love to have that opportunity to talk with you. And thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of your JNUC 2021.